Maybe that's a little overly sentimental, but it's my channel and I'll cry if I want to. Hello y'all, welcome back to Case Can Probably Read. My name is Casey and I am most likely literate. The year 2022 is barreling towards us like it's a 2,000-year-old vampire and we're the young female protagonist in a YA book about vampires. Is that joke dated? Feels dated. Please excuse all the weather noises you hear in the background. Earlier this week it was in the 30s and 40s here, but today it suddenly bumped up to the mid-70s and we've had nothing but thunderstorms all day. Here in Oklahoma, that always means there's at least like a 10% chance that it turns into a tornado. So if you suddenly hear a siren and I get up and run, I'm going to a closet. I started my channel back in April, but I've only recently started posting regular videos, so I didn't really want to try and do a yearly wrap-up video this year. I'd still like to do a December wrap-up, but obviously that will come later in the month. So what I'd like to do instead is just a wee bit of goal setting for the coming year and what I plan to do as far as reading and running this channel. So without further ado, let's set some goals. I gotta stop doing the finger guns. My first goal for 2022 is to read at least 60 books. I am really proud that I've managed to read 60 books a year for the past 2 years. This year I've actually surpassed that. I think I'm sitting at 66 as we speak. So I did consider upping the goal for 2022, but here's the thing. I know there are some fantastic and superhuman booktubers out there who just blow that number out of the water, and I think that's awesome. However, I'm trying to be the best me that I can be. Yes, I just said that. And the best me feels like she can successfully commit to reading 60 books this year and still give each book the thought and attention that it deserves. I think I've mentioned before that prior to 2020, I was only managing to finish maybe 10 or 12 books a year. Yes, at the time I was a new mother, and yes, at the time I was still a full-time public school teacher, but that was still weirdly devastating to me. When I was a kid, I loved reading so much that I would stay up reading by nightlight after my parents had gone to bed. When they grounded me from reading. It was very important to me. So now that I've found this new ability to finally stay caught up with reading, I feel like it's going to be more of a quality game than a quantity game for me. And so I feel like 60 books is a good goal to help me still accomplish this. Goal number 2, branch out. I've never been a big reader of contemporary romance. I picked up a couple of fantasy romances in the past, but that was always more because of the fantasy aspect of the book. One of my favorite channels on BookTube is Books Like Whoa. Mara at Books Like Whoa is so skilled at educating her viewers about specific tropes and different genres, which is so valuable because if you can figure out which tropes and genres are your favorite, you're more likely to select reading material that will satisfy those cravings. It was because of her channel and specifically because of her videos about the romance genre that I decided to give it a try this year. I read several books that were purely romance, and I really enjoyed them. It's still not my favorite genre, but when I'm experiencing reader fatigue or I'm craving something more specifically emotional or cozy, I found that cracking open a romance really seems to meet my reading needs in those seasons. That said, this year I would like to branch out and try maybe some mysteries or some thrillers or maybe even some horror. But I think it's really good to expand one's reading horizons, so I'd like to give that a shot this year. On to goal number 3, plan for more consistent content. Isn't this everybody's goal? I am not consistent at planning things. There are times when I do a really great job at planning, but that is not going to be the majority of the time. I don't want to plan out every video or idea that I'm going to do in 2022 because I find that when I'm too tightly committed to ideas and projects like that, I tend to get claustrophobic and overwhelmed, and often I just abandon the project altogether. But I would like to have a flexible list of creative ideas that I'd like to fulfill, and I'd like to try to update them and execute them quarterly. I'd like to do that. That's the goal. We'll find out what the actuality is next December. Goal number 4, annotate more. I just had the realization this year that I own all these books. They're mine. I can write in them if I want to. I always thought of annotating as just an annoying chore because I'd only ever done it in school. And then I found out that people do it to books they actually like. I don't know why this concept was so novel to me, but when I realized that people did that, I was like, yes, let's do that. I've just started getting my feet wet with annotating in the last month, but I'm looking forward to doing more of it in 2022. Goal number 5, buy more used books. This was something that did not occur to me until this past year. I have used books in my library, but I had never thought of making it the main way that I buy books. I don't typically buy physical copies of new release books. There are some I'm willing to do that with, usually from series I'm deeply invested in or from authors that I really want to support. But for the most part, if I want to read a new release, I will either buy it as an ebook or I will check it out from my local library or through its electronic service. The main reason that I buy books at all is if I'm going to want to reread it multiple times or if I'm going to want to loan it to a friend or family member. All of you know how expensive collecting books can get. When I buy used books, not only am I saving money, but I like the fact that I'm giving an old thrown away book a new home. I like that it gives my personal library a deeper history. I like knowing that other people have held these books in their hands and have read the same story that I'm enjoying now. Maybe that's a little overly sentimental, but it's my channel and I'll cry if I want to. Many of the books you see behind me are used books. Some of them I got at my local library's used book sale, and some of them I purchased online through thrift books. It's a practice I'd like to continue and maybe get better at doing. Goal number 6, get more comfortable with talking to the camera. Okay, real talk. This does not feel natural to me. I know, you're shocked. I think I will always be a little awkward in front of the camera, but I'd like to get a little more comfortable with this part of making videos. I do sometimes prepare rough scripts beforehand, and I use my laptop to let me refer to them when I'm recording videos. Again, I know you're shocked. It's just something I have to do right now to help me stay on task and not follow every rabbit trail that pops up in front of me. This may be something I always do just to be more intelligible, but I would like to work toward being more conversational in front of the camera. Goal number 7, write more. I really love writing. I like story structure. I like learning about story structure and plotting and character development. Other than reading, learning about writing is probably my biggest hobby, and it's something I've been doing for fun for about 10 years now. It's not something I really want to do for a living or to get published or anything. I just really enjoy the whole process of coming up with a story and getting it on the page. I'd love for this year to be the first year that I finish a first draft of something. I don't care if it's trash. I don't care if people read it. It's just something I want to do for me because I enjoy it. Well, that's all I got for you today. Have you made any reading goals for 2022? If so, leave me an itemized list below. Just kidding, give me like 1 or 2 tops, okay? If my brand of awkward appeals to you, please feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, read like you're a young female protagonist who's running from a 2,000-year-old vampire.